divisive throughout the years, but perhaps none more than those centered around Batman. The campy live-action series from the 1960s and the grim and gritty animated series from the 90s both have their share of fans, but you have to think a lot of people would love to see what a dark, gritty live-action series on the Caped Crusader would look like. Instead, we got Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey was released in 2002 on the WB network, based on the DC comic book series of the same name, which focuses on a handful of DC's secondary female heroes. I'm guessing this was part of Warner's attempt to replace Buffy, but we'll soon learn that Laeta Kalogridis is no Joss Whedon. The show opens in Gotham City. I'm sorry, I mean New Gotham. The pilot episode starts with a flashback to Batman's last battle with the Joker. And as I watch these scenes, I can't help but wonder why couldn't we have gotten the series these badass scenes came from? This looks like it would be a great new Batman series, especially since they brought back Mark Hamill to voice the Joker for all of one line.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Batgirl.
So the Joker killed Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, and then he cripples Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. Fast forward 7 years, when we see Barbara working as a school teacher, and her ward Helena Kyle talking to her shrink. You know, character establishment is important, but it's usually a good idea to introduce superhero characters in their superhero personas. We go 13 minutes into this episode before we finally see Helena as the Huntress.
We spend all our time trying to save the city, fighting crime lords and supervillains. For what? We do it because it's who we are.
Your father is one of the wealthiest men in the country, and you move in with a school teacher?
Helena is actually the illegitimate daughter of Batman and Catwoman, and this was true of the original Huntress in the comics, although that version was wiped out in a major reboot of the 80s and was never part of this group. Still, it is acceptable. What isn't is the idea for this Huntress to have superhuman abilities. Congratulations, you just turned off 90% of Batman fans by giving a member of the Bat family superpowers! Oh, and she's also apparently too good for the hassle of wearing a mask. You know, like every Batman hero does.
I don't wear a mask for combat purposes. All right, they're itchy, they make you sweat.
Your mascara runs? It's about anything.
I can have 2 lives without looking like an overgrown trick-or-treater.
Okay, her other identity as a small nightclub bartender might be enough to keep her under the radar from the authorities, but not when she has a criminal record that involves her taking court-ordered therapy sessions with Dr. Harleen Quinzel. If this leads to what a lot of people hope, this show might be able to save itself. Meanwhile, this young girl, Dinah Lance, arrives in Gotham and witnesses a guy kill himself. Only she believes he was goaded into doing so because she can sense and read minds. I really don't want to keep getting into comics continuity, so I'm trying to hold back my gripe on that.
It's you. I saw you in my dream.
This isn't the batarang I gave you for practice.
I know, but this one has 3 times the range of the regular ones, plus all the automated stuff. I could go to the dockyards.
No, I don't like you going in the field without backup.
You mean without looking over my shoulder?
Let me go to the damn dockyards!
Okay, I can't hold this back anymore. People, Dinah Lance in the comics is listed as one of the 6 best martial artists in the world. She is also not a telepath, but possesses a canary cry that can shatter steel. Hence her name, the Black Canary. Whose idea was it to replace that with this little escapist from One Tree Hill? What makes it sadder is how well they pull off the character of Oracle. Dina Meyer could pass as a dead ringer for Barbara Gordon, and this is a believable portrayal of someone adjusting to life after active crime fighting. And with some actually good fight scenes, there were the makings of a good action show. But they keep shoving in attempts to turn it into Dawson's Creek. Think I'm exaggerating? Listen to this opening theme song! This is my remedy for everything that's ailing me. A superstar. And then there's these closing numbers.
I wanted to be like you. I wanted everything. So I tried to be like you.
Because when I watch a show about superheroes, I expect to hear Michelle Branch. Now, one could argue that the point of this was to appeal to a new demographic and not the hardcore Batman readers. But that really doesn't hold water when they keep throwing in references that only longtime readers of the books will get.
Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, even you. It's more than a tradition, it's a legacy.
Detective Claude Martin just transferred from Bloodhaven.
The entire city was built on tectonically engineered slabs after that earthquake that toppled old Gotham.
And it doesn't help that in this Gotham, everyone seems to have forgotten about Batman.
Now I know you're messing with me. A grown man fights crime, and he does it dressed as a giant flying rodent.
I think it's safe to assume he had some issues.
That's nothing. You should hear the stories in Metropolis about this flying blue guy. So Dinah's telepathy helps them catch the one who caused the deaths, and then...
You ruined my dreams,
At least temporarily.
This city is gonna pay for what they did to my sweet Mr. J.
Yes, it's everyone's favorite insane sex fantasy, Harley Quinn. And I will say, this character is incredible. Mia Sara really threw herself into this role. And while I haven't read the Batman books in a while, and I don't know if Harley Quinn is psychotic in them, I can totally see it happening, especially given the context. Which is exactly why Harley appears in less than half the episodes, even though she's billed in the opening credits. Do these people even know what Batman fans want? Instead, we get a bunch of sexual tension between Huntress and Detective Reese here, while Dinah continues to act like a brat.
Come on, I've almost got it.
Did you talk to Gibson?
No, I played pool!
What did he say?
He said a junior crime fighter like me should run and hide!
Dinah.
An ass-kicking diva who takes out villains with her voice! What was wrong with that concept?
You know, I hope you're just a pickpocket, or else I'd have to hurt you.
You see? Yes, they actually do bring in the Black Canary in this show, revealing her to be Dinah's mother, which is again true to the comic history. So naturally, the episode is about Dinah having to save her, and she dies in the end. You just keep finding new ways to piss me off, Leanna. And that's basically where the rest of the season goes. Okay, there was one good episode around the minor villain Lady Shiva, but that was basically due to more flashback scenes, making me ask once again why we couldn't have had that series. But mostly the story focused on trying to hunt down the crime lord responsible for the Canary's death, who turns out to be Reese's father, setting up possible tension with him and Helena that goes nowhere. What about that plan of Harley's to take over Gotham? Were you planning to go back to that anytime? Well, it was resolved in the final episode where we finally got to see Harley in some form of that Harlequin Joker outfit of hers.
I'll admit the show went out with a bang with this climactic battle, but it just goes to show what the series could have been. With more action like this, it might have been given more leeway, but it got canned after one short season.
Birds of Prey definitely had potential. The set designs were gorgeous, the characters that worked did so really well, and the basis of the main story arc was compelling. Unfortunately, they devoted too little time to that story, added too much teen-style angst, and simply didn't know who their audience was. Those who didn't read the comics would be confused by the obscure references to DC continuity, and those that did would be hacked off by what they changed. Although they at least handled Barbara Gordon better than Christopher Nolan's Batman films did. Seriously, where was she in The Dark Knight? See you next time on TV Trash.